In order to fix a problem, you need to first accept that you have a problem. In order for families in Mississippi to get the education their children deserve, we need state leaders who are willing to accept that education right now is just not good enough. Instead of that honesty, what we get is endless propaganda about the so-called Mississippi education miracle. This week, the Department of Education in Mississippi published the results from the 2022-2023 Mississippi Academic Assessment Program, or the MAAP. Relying on this data to tell you what's going on in education in Mississippi would be a bit like expecting your child to honestly mark their own homework. Sure enough, having marked their own homework, the education bureaucrats in our state wanted us to believe, and I quote, "Student achievement has reached an all-time high in Mississippi in math, English and science." Baloney. Just as you get grade inflation in the economy, you get grade inflation in Mississippi's education system too. The MAAP scores are used to rate school districts and schools themselves. There's been a dramatic fall in the number of school districts rated D and F in our state in recent years. This is not because districts are no longer failing. It's because even failing districts are now getting better grades. A more credible measure of student performance is a national benchmark, the so-called National Assessment of Educational Progress, or the NAEP. This data tells a rather less flattering story. It says that 4 in 10 fourth graders in 2022 couldn't even do basic reading. 82% of 8th grade kids in Mississippi weren't proficient in math. It shows that 70% of 4th grade kids in Mississippi weren't proficient at reading in 2022. Education standards are not just bad, they are not getting better. The claim by the Mississippi Department of Education that, quote, students have made faster progress than nearly every other state is frankly ridiculous. The truth is that during COVID lockdowns, standards as measured by the NAEP scores plummeted in other states, and they barely changed in ours. This meant that our relative position seemed to improve without there being any actual improvement in outcomes here in Mississippi. Officials know all this, yet they still choose to present a misleading picture of what's happened in the belief that you're going to be impressed by it. Equally implausible is the idea that we should celebrate record levels of high school graduation. The truth is that 1 in 4 Mississippi public school students is chronically absent from school. 1 in 4. Worse, the number of kids regularly not showing up has skyrocketed from just over 70,000 in 2016 to well over 100,000 today. Honesty about the true state of education matters because self-congratulatory propaganda is one of the reasons so little has been done to improve things. Mississippi has been run by supposed conservatives for over a decade. In all that time, we have seen remarkably little progress to make the big strategic changes we so desperately need. In 12 months, Arkansas, Alabama, Louisiana have made more progress towards school choice than Mississippi managed in 12 years. Why? A lot of it is down to leadership or lack thereof. Politicians merely looking to progress along the conveyor belt don't need any vision. They simply aim to go along to get along. Mississippi is now surrounded on 3 sides by states that do have universal school choice. In every case, change took courage and vision, not self-congratulation. One of the reasons why Arkansas's Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, or Louisiana's Jeff Landry, or Texas's Greg Abbott are on Fox News all the time and are emerging as conservative leaders with a genuine national profile in their own right is because they have shown a tenacity in fighting for school choice in their own states. Real grit, real courage. Another part of the problem is that everyone seems to have a vested interest in exaggerating the impact of reforms that may have happened a long time ago. This may be understandable, of course, but laws passed almost a decade ago aren't enough to improve education standards in Mississippi today. Our job at the Mississippi Center for Public Policy is to push for conservative policies based on real conservative principle, not dodgy press releases. We aim to ensure that conservative leaders in this state finally come out unequivocally for universal school choice. We're on a mission to ensure that anyone ridiculous enough to pretend that things are better than they are looks, well, ridiculous. Only universal school choice will do.